Okay, guys, hopefully the wind is not too much and you can hear me good. I'm gonna do a really quick video. I know I mentioned in my other videos about how they are cutting down. A new owner came in and he's cutting down all of these trees. It's about 300 acres that surround my house on two sides. The third side is probably about 50 acres. But he's taken all the trees down, all up in there. They're still working over there. And to my understanding, they're supposed to hit that area back there on the other side of my property starting next week. And so that's about 30 to 40 feet of my property line. So all of that's going to be gone. But what the problem I'm having is that they're taking all the the trees down, and the deer are coming out like crazy. And so they have eaten. That was one of my deer deterrents. That is a sensor for when someone comes into my driveway. It's here. It usually sounds in the house, but I brought it outside so that it would hopefully scare the deer if they came into the driveway that way. It certainly has worked on the dogs and cats that like to come over from my neighbor's yard. But anyway, the sensor, the noisemaker, I guess, is there. And I have two more placed around the yard. But anyway, back to this fence. So the deer have come in and they have totally decimated my greens. When they got the first patch, I wasn't too angry because I still had a very large patch left. And I said, yeah, I know y'all stressed and you're hungry. So I'm a stress eater too. So I kind of related. But when they hit that second patch a few days ago, now I was really upset. But anyway, so I went on YouTube trying to find a way to deter deer. I've used the urine. I have used my Carolina Reaper spray. And for 3 years, I had 0 deer. But the problem with those things is if it rains, you have to come back out and do it again once it dries. Like right now, it's been raining for 3 days. So, which is open deer season. Matter of fact, I thought I just heard some backup of those woods. But anyway, I watched hours and hours and hours and hours of YouTube videos. Because, you have to weed out who's right, who's wrong, who's going to get you shocked, and who's going to get you killed, and who knows what they're talking about, and all that good stuff. So I came up with where I decided to go with an electric fence because I had someone come out and give me a quote to fence my yard, the entire yard, and they wanted $27,000. Well, of course, that wasn't going to happen. And so then I thought about the fishing line, but then that got mixed reviews. Some people said it worked, some people said it didn't work. So then I decided to go with the electric fence. So in the process of looking up the electric fence, I came across electric fence and 3D electric fence because I was trying to find T-posts that were 10 foot tall so that I can put them in the ground 2 feet, and then I would still have 8 feet and hope the deer wouldn't jump, even though I hear deer will jump over 8 feet. Anyway, so I had seen one video and they were using, they were using, I can't think, I'm so tired. They were using, it wasn't this bar, but it's made out of the same thing, fiberglass. They were using fiberglass bars, and they were little small fiberglass, really skinny, and they were using them to put up their fence. But on the corners, they were using the rebar because the small fiberglass wasn't strong enough. And I remembered I had bought a bunch of fiberglass poles to stake my fruit trees there. And so I still had a bunch left because they were only 99 cents, and I saw them and I bought every one of them. And they were in my shed, so I brought those out, and so that's what I made my fence with. So I did the inside fence. I did 3 rows on that one, all the way around. And here I made a gate. Now let me tell you about this gate. They say you could open it and then the fence is not charged anymore. if you run the wire from the opposite side of the charger or some shit. I wasn't getting that. So I said, now how is it still connected to the wire, but it's not going to be charged? Well, I figured out because I got shocked when I went to test it. So I unfastened it from here, and I have 3 openings, but I unfastened it from here, and I checked the charge, and both sides were still charged. And I checked the fits, but I dropped my charger, so I bent down to pick up my charger, and then I leaned against this one, and I also touched the fence wire, which was still charged. So what they did not say was stop the wire at this point and then restart it on the other side of that insulator. Then it would have not been charged. So anyway, I'm going to turn it off anytime I go inside of it anyway, just to be safe. And then I ran the single wire outside of the 3 wires to give it kind of that 3D effect, because they say deer don't have depth perception, and so they have a hard time trying to figure out a fence that's like this. And people have said they don't even make their fences electric, they just make them 3D, and some have been 3 or 4 feet high, and the deer, according to them, have not gone into their gardens. So that's what I did. Oh yeah, and then I messed up because you see there, I went over to that corner. Let's see there, and I should have come here. I should have come there. So I have a triangle in there, and I'm clumsy, so I know what's going to happen. Even with the fence off, I'm going to trip over that wire. But I had made it all the way to the end down there before I realized what I did here. I was actually on the second line when I saw that, so I wasn't going to take all of that loose, and I didn't want to cut it. So anyway, I'm going to call that my triangle. And I have a plum tree inside of it, so that's how I will call that area. So over here is where I put my charger, because, not the charging station, because the sun comes up from that direction there, and I wanted it to get the most sunlight and not to have any issues with charging, because I have all those trees there. So I've never done this before, which is why I watch so many videos. But I used the copper pole for grounding. That thing was almost 7 feet tall. I could not get it in there any further, and so that's as far as I stuck it in the ground. And to charge this outside line, I just ran a piece of wire from the middle wire of the inside out to here, and then to make sure all 3 of these lines were charged, I ran a line from there down to each one of those, and then the actual charging line from here to the top line. So right now it's on charge because I just hooked it up, but I'm going to turn it on to show you. Right out the box, it is giving me about, I had to buy one of these because I had to know if things were working or not. I saw people just touching poles and stuff to it, but I'm not those people, so I have to do it right. So what you do is just stick that in the ground to ground it, and then put that on the wire, and we'll see. It's pushing about 3,000 volts, and that's where it was when it first came out the box. So it hasn't really charged because the day is so gloomy. Oops, sorry about that. And then I'll go inside, try to not touch this while I'm recording, and then check that wire that is connecting the two, and I'm getting the same reading. And go here. It's about the same thing, about 3,000 volts coming off of it right now. Out straight out the box, not being charged yet. So I'm going to switch that back over to charge. But anyway, I just wanted to share with you guys my fence. And I made 5 trips to 4 stores because I had purchased these types of insulators because I was going to use T-posts. And then when I figured I was going to use these, I had to go back and buy these type. And they don't really fit. They were really too small. So I had to use a locking pliers to kind of squeeze the back of it so that I can get that ring on there. But I'm pretty happy with it. And I was nervous as I don't know what when I thought about fooling with electricity, but it hasn't been bad. So, and this one here, it really should be higher, but these things were so hard to get on there, I just left it like it was. But guys, there it is. That's my 3D fence. And honestly, the hardest part for me was pounding the actual metal T-post in the ground, because that thing that you use to do it is really heavy. And then the second hardest, until I figured it out, was unrolling that wire, because I was trying to go from pole to pole. I would unroll it to the next pole and it was flipping it loose and all that stuff. So what I figured out was to just tie it when I first started and run it all the way down to the other end and just drop it and then come back and add it to the insulators. And that worked really, really well, made it a whole lot easier. All in all, I think I spent a little under $500 for this, but I will say I have a lot of stuff left over. And the biggest expense, honestly, was that charging thing. But people say now that I tell them I did this, oh, you could use a battery charger, did this. But ain't none of y'all came over here to help me. Ain't none of y'all offered no advice when I told you I was doing it, but now everybody has answers. Anyway, so I still have quite a bit of stuff left. And first, I bought this wire. And I kept trying to figure out how in the world am I going to manipulate that? And that's a really heavy wire. So I have 2 packs of that I didn't use. I still have my fence things. I have bags of these. Because like I said, I had the wrong ones. And I didn't use T-posts. I have a whole bag of T-posts. Actually, I might take those things back. I'm not going to use them. And this actually is a wire that I ended up using this wire right here. It's easy to work with. Let me see if it says something. Oh, the paper's off of it. But it's really easy to work with. And so that's what I used. I bought line tighteners and all kind of stuff that I didn't need. Listen to folks in the store tell me what I need. But this thing, this is what I was talking about. This big, heavy humunga jungle. It cost me $45 for that. I also have some kind of tool that my friend told me to get to tighten the wire, because he was going to tell me or show me how to do it over FaceTime, because he's in Washington State. And of course, I didn't use it, don't even know how to use it. And he's playing sick and unavailable right now. But it was only $4.29. And this is the excessive copper wire that I bought. So when I do my next fence, I should have pretty much everything I need except for the charger and my T-post. But hopefully I can find some more of those fiberglass posts, because that's a lot. Even if I find them and they're a couple of dollars, that's a lot cheaper than paying $16 for one T-post, especially if it works. Let's see, did I show you guys the handles? Let's see. I'm not sure if I did or not. I think I did. I did another video and I hit the button and it stopped recording, so that's why I don't know if I showed you or not. Anyway, so this is my gate here. And I made it pretty big because I'm hoping that I can get equipment in there if I need to. And I have this wire here, which I can just duck under. after I turn the electricity off and just go through the gates here. What else? There was something else. I can't think of it now. Can't think of it. But I think that's it. It took me, if I would just figure up the time it took me, not watching the videos, but actually out here working on this. I did it over 3 days because it was raining, and I worked in the rain sometimes. I worked in the rain today, actually. So I would say it probably took me maybe a total of 3 hours to get this done. And it's pretty easy once you, oh, y'all, I think I missed a, oh, wait a minute, looks like I missed a pole. Oh, no, I didn't, okay. Because I did miss a pole earlier up there at the corner, and I had to go do some rigging. But anyway, that's it. It wasn't hard. I was more nervous than anything about fooling with electricity, but it's a solution to my problem. And it probably cost me, it was under $500 for everything. Of course, because I was buying crap that I really didn't need, so it probably really wasn't even that much. But that's what I spent. And I did not, let me say this, I did not get all of my trees in there because it was just going to make a weird shape. It is already weird, but like here, I didn't include this tree inside the gate because I had concerns, and I still have concerns about being able to cut my grass with the riding lawnmower, and I already know I'm going to have to get a push mower. But that tree didn't go in. I also have a plum tree over here that I did not fence in, and a peach tree there that I didn't fence in. And there's some things I'm going to have to dig up because they will touch the gate and ground it out, supposedly. And then I have more trees down there that aren't inside the gate either. So I'm going to have to figure out something else for them. I might do individual fencings, or I might try some noise makers, or I don't know. But I just needed to get something done for the majority of the trees. And I can't think of what else I was going to tell you guys. So I guess that is it. I'm going to have to move these bananas too because they're surely going to touch that wire when they start growing again. But, all right, that is the electric fence done by me, all by myself. Cussing and fussing, running to the store because I didn't have the right stuff, or I didn't have the right size stuff, or one store didn't have what I need. When I did find the right stuff, I didn't want to drive an hour and a half back to the other store to get what I needed. And I still end up having to do that because the local stores, they aren't really local. They're about 30 minutes from me. They didn't have what I needed. So I spent more time running around getting supplies than I actually did putting this fence together, honestly. And now that I've done it, I understand the mechanics of it. And I'm pretty confident that I can do the other one. So I'm just going to start looking for these fiberglass poles. And they are kind of loose. They're tight as far as they can go. But if you just pull the string tight, they hold very, very well. And this string, like I said, was very easy to work with. Very, very easy to work with. And I can't tell you what kind it is, but you see how thin it is. It's not too thin, but it's thin enough to work with as opposed to that big, thick stuff that I had purchased first. All right, guys, I'm rambling because I can't think of what I was going to tell you, and I didn't want to end this video before I told you, but I can't remember. So, with that being said, I am done. I'm out. I'm going in the house and chill, find me something to eat because this wind is crazy. It blew over my table, and I'm gonna leave it right there because all it's gonna do is blow it back over again, and I'm too lazy to put it up. So guys, as always, thanks for watching and listening to me ramble. See you next time.